Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So there may be some audio technical issues. It seems like, from what we can tell, my microphone works, Wes' microphone works, but he can't hear me. So if you guys can confirm the comments as we go along, how you guys are hearing us through, and we can try and adjust accordingly, we'll go ahead. But let's start with the starting lineups, Wes. If you would like to go ahead and announce.
So there's obviously two changes. We've got Jimmy Garner at right back, which I think we were all sort of screaming out for. So people are saying in the comments that O'Brien didn't deserve to be dropped. He didn't. He's not a right back, but he's done a job there. But ultimately, he doesn't give us anything going forward. And obviously, Tim Burnham coming in the centre of mid instead of Jimmy Garner. It looks on paper a positive sort of change. I like Tim. I do like Tim. I think he's got a lot to offer, and I think, in the long term, he's probably the long term replacement for Idrissa Gueye, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. So I think the real challenge today, and we know this for a little while now, if players with any pace run at Jake O'Brien, his lack of, well, he's a centre half that's out of position, and if we play a deep block or someone isn't pacey to get around him, we're okay. The second that changes and they get past him, we're out of position defensively, and we're trying something different. And James Garner's come in as a later substitute to fill in that role. We did it against Tottenham, and we're going to see it from the starting whistle today. What I wanted to see, though, was not Eric Burnham coming in. It was Merlin Roll in that position.
Yeah, or possibly
the chaos merchant, but he is going to be more aggressive, press high. But I would rather see Merlin Roll in that spot.
Yeah, or possibly Charlie Alcaraz.
I see him in the Dewsbury Hall position in the number 10. And I like to see Merlin in the 6 or double pivot.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like I say, for me, it was either Charlie Alcaraz or Merlin Roll. I think Moyes is just very cautious all the time, and he, like, instead of like going for it, playing Tim and I was saying before in the car before to a customer who was going again today. I think that the fact that Garner this season, not Jimmy Garner, Idrissa Gueye, the fact that he seems to have dropped off a cliff, because every time he puts a tackle in nowadays, it's a foul.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And there's never sort of a clean tackle one anymore. It's usually like, clumsy and a bit laboured. And it doesn't look as sharp as what it used to be.
Yeah, well, the reality is, even with someone that looks after his fitness the way he does, he shouldn't be playing for a full 90 minutes at this rate. Maybe on certain matches he starts and certain ones he doesn't. But playing every week maybe isn't the right tactic. But look, I think there's a scenario here where he can, on a match like today, especially paired with Tim Burnham, if we're going to do a high press, Idrissa Gueye can be very effective at leading and controlling to the middle where players will press, cause turnovers, and we can cause havoc. The problem is, can they bypass our press? And I believe it's Sessegnon is their left winger today.
Oh, is Anthony Robinson being dropped?
I believe that Robinson's still out, so I'll bring that up now. But if we have so Letterman goals, Kenny Tete right back, a mixture of Anderson and Bassi as the two centre halves, and then have Sessegnon, and then I believe they pair with a double pivot. So it's very similar to our formation, actually. Alex Iwobi, and then Raul. And they have some throw Adama Traore and Muniz. So they have some threat. But what we're saying here, them coming at us on their left side or our right side. So if they can get through the press that we're probably going to do with Eric Burnham and Ghana Gay through the middle, do we have an alternate avenue to going forward? Because at the moment, we've seen very flat. We know this. We don't put bodies forward. We basically play with a back seven and isolate our forwards. So is this going to change our fortunes there?
Well, so something's got to change, hasn't it? I think Jimmy Garner offers us more going forward from the back, but ultimately, I still think that being, having Burnham and this Ghana Gay, we then just rely on Njai and Grealish to create.
Well, relying on those two is not the problem. It's that we don't diversify how we go forward. We kick it, hit it, knock it to Grealish, knock it to Njai, or knock it to our number 9. And we don't have a second or third body there for flick-ons to actually build triangles and overloads. And I expect a very demanding Everton fan base today if we don't go at them early. They lost. They beat Wolves 3-0, but they have been underwhelming all season.
Yeah.
The problem is Marco Silva knows as well. He's done well at Goodison. I expect he could easily pull that off again at the new stadium, but it's a new dynamic.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just having issues with my bloody antivirus thing, mate. It was taking up my screen. I'm just looking through the comments here. Is any people saying around? Any people out there saying around that they can hear you, Chris?
If you can hear me, please let me know. Because it seems like other than me just talking to myself and no audio, no one said anything.
Spurs 2-1 up.
Oh, that's changed again. Okay, I'll change that. We're not following Tottenham, but we may as well at this rate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is not, at the moment, Richarlison, was it? Richarlison scored there. And the Alakazzi stuff.
I'm trying to. It's a very intricate setup for Wes to hear me, so that may be why there's a lot of echoes and fuzziness on my side. So apologies there.
So Daniel said he can hear you, but it's not too clear. Maybe because he's not. The thing is, Chris is speaking to me on my phone, so maybe that's why he's not too clear on the stream.
I speak in the background, so there's a little bit of an echo. I'm trying to make it not visible to you guys, while also trying to do my timing. So if it's a little off, that could well be it.
Yeah. Well, yes. So would you see as their dangers then, Chris?
Yeah. Well, I think the key danger, if we go back, Raul Jimenez for sure. We know what Alex Iwobi can be like, especially in the central position.
Yeah.
And he has gone through waves, especially at Fulham, where he's done that. Harry Wilson has his moments in the sun. A lot of the time, he's more impactful off the bench than starting. But he can certainly strike a ball. He's a free kick taker for them. Can be quite dangerous.
Do you think there might have been? Do you think there might have been an option there to go 5 at the back and play O'Brien at right back and play Jimmy Garner as a right wing back?
Yeah, I think the question always has to be, well, the second we bring 5 at the back, when we play 4 at the back, we have 2 central midfielders sitting already.
Mm.
So how do we ensure that we're not just having more bodies behind the ball and actually progressing wide? And if Mikalenko and Grealish are on that side and James Garner is with Njai, do we have a good system for overloads? And are we weak through the middle if we sacrifice one player? Because what you'd probably do is you bring Keenan Dewsbury Hall in with Gay in the centre. He already plays deep, so maybe it makes no difference. And Garner would come out wide right.
Yeah, like you say, I think that with the you know, the physical presence of Jimenez, you know what I mean? Like he in the ball. I think we could have had O'Brien there, obviously, because he's a unit, and that could have snuffed out their threat even more. And then obviously we got Jimmy Garner down the wing and whatnot, and linking up with NGI.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. We've got a visual overload here, so I'm going to try and simplify the screen. Wormy's point, I think, is really key here. We don't, especially with James Garner at right, Mikalenko left back, we're not slow, but we're not fast enough. It's easier to be a defender and chase a player with the ball than having the ball and trying to outpace the opposition. And I don't think James Garner and Mikalenko have the blistering pace to break the lines that you would expect to have them in the wing-back position. No, so I think that's a very good point.
But he's got a decent cross on him, Jimmy Garner, you know what I mean? Whereas obviously Jake O'Brien is not that great at crossing the ball, but I don't know, it's just an option, you know what I mean? Like we've got options, just that Moyes seems to just want to stick to the sort of what he knows best, like, and even if we played the 4-4-2 or something like that, just change it up a bit.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, look, you can say it's a 4-2-3-1. What really matters is in the match, how do you actually move your players around at the right time, pressing when we have the opportunity if they're playing from the back.
Oh, 2-2.
That's more important to me.
2-2.
2-2. Keeps changing that. All right.
Spurs thought he'd won it. Man United have equalised in the 96th minute of 96 minutes.
So I wanted to bring this up, and maybe I'll start talking and leave it to you, Wes.
Yeah.
So firstly, if we look at the subs today, we have McNeil, Beto, O'Brien, Dibbling, Alcaraz, Roll, and Asno.
Yeah.
Almost everyone except for Grealish and Dewsbury Hall of our recent signings are on the bench.
Yeah.
And the person that had a hissy fit and decided to change his Instagram account for him being on the bench gets rewarded with another start.
As in Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think apart from him missing that chance the other night, I thought he'd done all right for the 47 minutes or whatever he was on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? But he's got to get a run of games. He's got to get at least start 45 minutes starting or 45 minutes coming on from off the bench. He needs confidence. The lads, the two strikers are devoid of confidence altogether, and that's the thing. There's not enough supply to them.
Right. There's not enough supply to them. They don't have support frequently enough. The build-up play is unreliable, inconsistent. They don't know when to commit back post for crosses or anything of this nature because we don't have a consistent pattern of play other than go wide to Grealish or Njai takes on 6 players and scores goalies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, James is saying there you can't change him at 45 minutes again. What's the use? And I agree with that. But at the same time, it's no good him coming on for 10 minutes or better one for coming on for 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Because
when the strikers don't score, Wes, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
If let's say Beto doesn't score for 90 minutes, it was Moyes' failure to not bring on Barry because it wasn't working, or vice versa. So until they start scoring, nothing is deemed the right decision because it's a result-based business.
Yeah, and the thing is that yeah, he missed the chance the other day, but I think his all round game for that 45 minutes was decent. I thought. You know what I mean? He was holding the ball up. He was putting his foot in, getting stuck in. So you can see that there's definitely something there. But ultimately, he's paid to score goals, and he's no goals, no assists. Yeah, he's hardly plays, but Beto 1 goal, no assists as far as I know.
Yeah, and if we're to, and it's a bit early to go on to predictions, right? But if we're to see one of our two strikers score, I think Barry may be closer to scoring, right?
But the thing is, I think
better the first 45 when he was on the pitch. He missed a great chance, and he was right there.
Yeah, but I just don't think physically he's there yet. You know what I mean? I mean, he looks like fucking stick set. You know what I mean? He looks like at any given moment, like he's made the balsa wood and he's going to get snapped. So he needs to be more physical, I think.
Well, he does have that ability to basically. He has quite a large frame and he can turn a player. So what Beto does the hold up without the turn, and Barry does the turn without as much of the hold up. So combined, we have a striker. neither can get it in the onion bags. Maybe we don't.
Yeah. My vape looks like a lightsaber. But the thing is, ultimately the strikers are there. They're there to score goals. And you can have, the most creative players around them. But ultimately, if they're not putting it in the back of the net and taking the chances, your creative players start thinking twice of actually creating things for them. Like I watched the Charlie Alcaraz one at the end the other day, and he only had to square it to Beto, but he was like in two minds what he wanted to do. By the time he even like half semi made his mind up, the defender was back and tackled him, and you just think any player who's got confidence in the strikers to put it in the back of the net, the squaring that to your striker all day long. But that tells me that the rest of the players in the squad don't have the confidence in the strikers to actually hit the back of the net.
Yeah. So Mark Foster brought up, and I haven't honestly watched enough of Fulham this year to elaborate too much on this, but I'm glad it will take Mark Foster's word on this, because I think the only clean sheet they held is a 10-man Wolves last week, or last match. So if they've been conceding goals consistently, this has to be Everton's opportunity to score. We're at home, and if they struggle at set plays, and they're not high on confidence, if it's not a must-win, we absolutely have to have a showing for ourselves, score goals, and not look a shell of ourselves. Minimum.
No, I mean, we haven't got to that point yet where it's a must-win, right? But we're going into another international break. God knows why. But we're going into another international break. And we need to go into it off the back of a win. And then come back after the international break, the pointless international break. And we hit the ground running again. Players should come back 2 weeks refreshed, back at it. Because we haven't got that many internationals in the squad, have we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, and Jai,
Carnegie, Jake O'Brien, Pickford. Yeah, he might not. I wouldn't even think that he's going to get picked anyway for these internationals coming up, because they've already qualified England, so there's no point.
So we don't have the inside scoop by any means and follow Everton, but it has been interesting. We've seen the impact when Alcaraz comes on, but I don't think we've seen him start this season, have we?
No. I think, did he start in the cup game? Did he start against Wolves?
I mean, does that count?
Not really, because we got beat anyway.
If Seamus Coleman can start left back, then Alvarez can start in the cup.
Yeah. But the thing is that, like, I get what Peter's saying there, but also if Moyes is one of these managers that is, if he doesn't want somebody, he's not going to sign them. Do you know what I mean? Like, Charlie Alcaraz was.
Control is in control. If
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? If Moyes wanted to have his hand in it, very similar to what he used to do when he was at Everton.
Yeah.
And we can bring up the news again, David. So we'll do that as we talk, just to refresh for everyone.
But Daniel's there. We haven't kept a clean sheet for ages. Defence has been looking champions, and he's right. Like last week against Sunderland, like for his good, the plaudits Michael Keane's had since he's in for Jared Branthwaite has been, deserved. But the last few games, every time, certainly against Sunderland, every time the ball comes back into the net, it looks like it's the flapping again. The panic. You can see it in their eyes. As soon as the ball comes into the box, it's like, shit, the ball's in the box. What do we do? And it's like we've gone taking backward steps.
Yeah. Well, Tarkowski knows how to whip it or boot it if you need to get it clear, right? King can be the same way. And I will say the one benefit, and maybe I'm wrong, people in the chat can interject. I don't think Fulham have players that truly have the blistering pace that scare us the way other squads have.
No, definitely not.
And we can get away with a slightly higher line, box them in, even with the likes of Keane and Tarkowski, who are not fast by foot.
But it's I said to the fella that I dropped off before that there's a sort of a belief that when Branthwaite gets back, and he's back fit and he's training again and whatnot, and he's going to obviously get minutes under his belt. He's not going to be throwing in at the deep end. But do you drop Tarkowski, your captain, to put Michael Keane in his place and play Jared Branthwaite at left centre back?
I just don't see that, unfortunately. I'm not sure it's unfortunate. What I'd rather see is O'Brien and Branthwaite.
Possibly.
Possibly,
but I don't think it'd be fair, based on the season up to now, to turn around and drop Michael Keane. And obviously Jared Branthwaite's a natural left-footed, whereas Keane's not. Tarkowski's been a bit ropey. Jake O'Brien hasn't done anything wrong. Don't get me wrong. He's been playing out of position, and he's done as well as he could playing out of position. And we haven't really seen him at centre half. I think a couple of games, the end of last season, he played centre half. But do we trust him enough to turn around and play him at centre half alongside Jared Branthwaite? I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to listen to you while also on the keeping an eye on the chat as well. But the challenge, I think, with Tarkowski, and maybe this is a little bit too blunt of ours. Do we think that Tarkowski is the future captain that we want at Everton, or is it a transitional period for someone else to take over the reins? Because if it is a time that someone else to take over the reins, then maybe it's okay that we start to tinker with him in the lineup. But until then, he stays.
Yeah, like I said, it's a tough choice because he's your club captain. When Seamus is not playing, obviously, but he hasn't been playing well enough to command that position.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky one. We kind of, similar to what we were saying about Idrissa Gana Gueye, we have these players that are slowly, we knew they're going to eventually age their way out of a starting position in the Premier League. It's not a guarantee that you stay forever.
Yeah,
It's a difficult league. It's physical. It's demanding, and the best players in the world try and get here. So, of course, over time, even if you work hard, it's hard to stay at that level. And if we want to play with a high line, you need someone to cover Tarkovsky and Keane. And right now, they can't cover each other.
Yeah, and Jake O'Brien's quick.
Outlet, then you've got Jake O'Brien at right backs to cover. That doesn't work either. He's a little faster, sure. So then you have James Garner to stay back. So it'll be really interesting to see who's the cover for if they do try and outpace us. And granted, as we said, they're slower Fulham compared to some of the other sides that we've played recently.
Yeah, so like you say, Jake O'Brien's, for the size of him, he's quite nippy, isn't he? You know what I mean? For the size of him.
All relative. But against the fastest players in the world, it's tough still.
Well, yeah. Well, you look at, it's like somebody mentioned there about the AFCON in January. Obviously, we're going to lose this again. We're going to lose NJ. So then, are we going to get to see the lesser spotted Tyler Diblin? Are we going to see Merlin roll? But then, once the AFCON is over, then those players are basically going to be bench players for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and Beto, he plays for Guinea-Bissau, right? Is
yeah.
my memory correct there?
Yeah, Guinea-Bissau.
So I don't know if they're in AFCON or not, if they qualified, but if they do, we'll lose him as well.
What do you have to do to qualify for the AFCON? Did they have like a playoffs and that, group stages and whatnot?
Well, Wes, how do you get into the Euros? I imagine it's very similar. You have to have.
Yeah, but you don't see but what I mean by that, Chris, is that you don't see them like with these, the Euros and stuff like that. You see, we have international breaks. So when did they play the qualifiers for the AFCONs? I've never seen them like there's been an international break. Like you see them playing international qualifiers for the World Cup.
Yeah, well, I imagine it's quite similar ways to if you're going to see the European content for European qualifiers, you're going to focus on England and everything else. But Senegal play international matches as well, right? So they must. And I'm not as familiar with the African, with AFCON. So if anyone in the chat watches that more frequently, you can interject. But I'm sure they are playing different African countries playing each other in qualifiers for AFCON. It has to be.
Maybe they play the AFCON qualifiers when the Europe are playing the Euro qualifiers, eh? You know what I mean?
I imagine that's similar for the Americas do their one.
What's their one? Is that the CONCACAF?
Yeah. Oh, where's Chad when you need him?
Oh.
When US, Argentina, Brazil will all play each other.
Yeah, I think is that the CONCACAF? I don't know.
I'm completely blanking. This is horrible. But yeah, they have a whole competition for the Americas. The Copa America, I believe it's called actually.
Copa America. So Phil Gaiman's a bit harsh there, losing Beto the AFCON as an advantage because he's a waste of space.
It simplifies a benching headache for the striker and gives 90 minutes to number 11.
But this is the thing, right? Is that we want our players to do well when they come here. Like there's very rarely a player that comes in and you just think, I'm not getting behind him. He's fucking dog shit. Do you know what I mean? We want them to score goals. We want them to do well. And it's like when they're not doing well, you're like, you've had another shit game and you've just proved everybody right again.
So Daniel was quite kind for us. He used either an artificial intelligence / Google to say 48 teams were divided into 12 groups of 4 playing home and away in a total of 6 matches, with the top 2 teams for each group qualifying for the main event called AFCON, so the African Cup of Nations.
48 teams were divided into how many groups? 12 groups. 12 groups of 4. So there's whittled down to 24 teams.
Yeah, and I'd have to check in more detail, but Barry P is on point there that we don't lose Beto. So we still have 2 forward options, but the key thing is that we lose midfield depth and best goal scoring outlet at the moment.
Yeah, but we're relying on the midfielders and possibly the defenders to get goals. It should not be the case. Do you know what I mean? Like,
If everyone can score other than the striker, then we're scoring goals and still winning matches. But yes, you want your striker scoring goals. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just like this is the thing, we're back in the same position we were 3 years ago, where this has been our downfall with the lack of goals. We apparently I read something the other day that we've scored the least amount of goals since the Premier League began.
I mean, how can that be possible? If a team has only played one season in the Premier League, they can't qualify. Maybe it's about the average goals in a Premier League season, and Everton are the lowest.
Yeah, but that's the stat I seen anyway. That probably maybe from the established teams, I don't know, but that's what I read. That out of all maybe the established teams that have been in the Premier League since it began, that Everton have scored the least amount of goals out of it, every single one of them.
Well, if that's the case, then you're basically saying what Tottenham, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Yeah, you can even include Villa in there, even though they got relegated.
Villa, yeah, sure. And Man City have been off and on. But if you're talking those teams, then yeah, then we are the best of the rest again.
Yeah.
Because they're always in.
But yeah, you say what people are talking about the AFCON, and it's like obviously when they go to the AFCON, we're going to see a different midfield, right? So we're probably going to see.
But honestly, I want to see Merlin Roll. I want to see James Garner and Eric Boonham play through that middle, or even if it's KDH with James Garner as a double pivot and have Merlin Roll play up higher, because he's actually quite adept.
Yeah. Did anybody?
He's a large body that can tackle.
Did anybody on the happen to see the video that Everton threw out after all the shit that came for the Dwight McNeil sub, and then all of a sudden Everton threw out a video on Facebook of Dwight McNeil putting crosses in and getting assists in training and stuff like that. And you think that doesn't really get away from the fact that was a fucking terrible substitution. I'm sorry, but it really doesn't.
Well, the truth is, if you bring someone in and they play well in training, it's up to the manager to decide tactically is it going to work, and is he match ready? Does he have the match fitness, and can he pull it off? And I guess it's up to the Everton fan base and your Wes. Do you think it works?
No.
There you go.
No. Because he put him out on the right, and he's like his right foot's just for standing on, and B, he doesn't look like he's up to the pace of the game. Obviously he's been out for a while, and you've got a young kid sitting on the bench who we haven't seen.
Oh, you mean Adam Asner?
No, Tyler Diblin.
Oh, Tyler. Okay, we have seen him a little bit. I was saying we've seen nothing of Asner.
We've seen that. Well, he'll probably go out on loan, won't he, at some point?
Yeah. Well, you need defensive cover, and we really lack defensive cover right now with Branthwaite up. So I don't think they'll do that until Branthwaite's at least back to have a left back option, unless you want Seamus to be left back again.
Well, Seamus has only probably got about 5 games in him a season now, only that's the thing.
Yeah. No, it's a shame. It is what it is. Mr. Blue Skies brings up another important point here. We're in the same position on the table. I think we're both like 12th and 14th respectively for us. So we basically can't score. We concede goals, and we're not in relegation spots, but we're not doing very well. They've just beat Wolves, though. That's the only difference.
Well, that stat there just fucking bodes well for like a border, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like an absolute dire game of football and no goals.
This reminds me of when we went away to West Ham. It was like 0-0. last season, or was it? When it was the flattest match, but we took a point because we're desperate for points. But I think it'll be better than that today. I truly expect a response from the Everton players with some mounting pressure. This seems to be the day. I don't know about the weather in Merseyside, but the timing is an ideal time of the day. Should have a good build-up.
It's beautiful here, to be fair. Nice and sunny.
Weather, a perfect day.
14 degrees here.
Just like it was against Brighton. Nice weather. Peak time of the day. It's a Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff? Yeah. There's no excuses today.
No excuses. And Daniel's got a point here. Jimmy Garner's second choice left back. And that's his fourth position, being centre mid, right mid, and right back. It's laughable. It is laughable.
He's probably fifth choice centre half as well.
Probably, yeah.
For his adaptability.
Probably first choice striker.
Nah, Hillman and Jai.
Yeah, it's probably what's his name just said there. Phil, it's unusually mild here. Like it's proper 13, 14 degrees. I had to turn the heating down in the car. I was absolutely sweating.
Yeah, British warm weather. You sweat when you're wearing a jacket.
But we need to cut out, right? We need to cut out this being the best team or being the worst team for half an hour or 45 minutes, and then being the best team for 45 minutes or half an hour. We need to have a consistent level. See what I mean? It's no good at going balls out for half an hour and then just fucking fading.
We have a bench.
Yeah, but he's reluctant to bring them on.
Fulham to use their bench. How do we react if we're ahead? How do we strategize for their response to test our likely frailties of James Garner being out of position? Maybe if fatigue Garner Gay through the middle.
But look at how we reacted against Sunderland with being the head. We just thought, we'll sit back and defend this. And Sunderland absolutely battered us for 60 minutes, but didn't create a lot.
Yeah, sorry, I'm reading the microphone stuff. Do you want to go through scores? Because we've got about 10 minutes before the match kicks off.
Yeah. People are saying you're getting quieter and quieter. Sort your mic. I think it's just because I don't know whether it's because he's on my phone talking to me that you can't hear him.
I think I can talk my microphone because it's getting echo and feedback so that Wes can hear me talk.
But that tells me that people can't hear your end if all they're getting is off my phone.
All right. Well, maybe I'll restart the laptop between shows here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for a 1-0 to the Blues.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2-1 to the Blues, but I see us winning today.
Yeah, I think they say I think we need to have that win before the international break. We got to win. I think we got to win just before the last international break, didn't we?
Against Palace?
Was it Palace? No, was it Palace?
The last time we won.
Was that long ago? I'm sure we got to win the last international break. Was it away?
I mean, we won at home against Palace. We beat Wolves away. We've beaten Brighton at home. And then a few draws, I think, mixed in.
Let's have a little look. So the last international break was at the first week of October, weren't it? Results.
First week of October, then we're looking at.
Well, we got beat by Tottenham, then Man City, We beat Palace. What day was that? Yeah, so it must have been.
So,
It was Palace then, yeah. It was
yes.
Palace. That was the 5th of October. So
I should never doubt myself, Wes.
yeah, yeah. We beat Palace before. I think the international break was that after that weekend, weren't it?
Yeah.
Well, a
Yeah,
lot of
I
people.
don't think there's anything superstitious about today. I just a few 2-1s I'm saying. We've got 2-1 here. Tazl is in a
Yeah. Mr. Blue Skies 2-1. And Giant Alcaraz even got the scorers, look. Right. Roy going 1-0. Barry. Is that Barry off fucking EastEnders? Phil saying we need the win today. It's not a crucial game but we do need the 3 points because we're closer and closer to that bottom, and we just need to put a bit of distance between us, because I think the teams that are down there, if the results go for us this weekend, we could put a bit of distance between ourselves. But like Phil's saying, there you got Man United, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Forest, and Chelsea. So they're all tough games, and obviously we're coming up against Sean Dyche, and he's going to want to prove a point, isn't he?
Yeah, he's actually quite good at getting points against his old clubs, which makes me quite nervous.
So yeah, so it's crucial we get 3 points then. It's not crucial that we get 3 points. It's not, what I mean by that is it's not a must-win game, right? Obviously we want to win, but it's not a must-win game because we're like 10, 11 games into the season. We're not at that stage just yet where every game is crucial.
Yeah, we're having Everton right now feels like a chronic illness, but we've got time to mend it. But we can't just keep being satisfied with mediocrity, and that's where I think we'll see a response today.
Hopefully. Tazzo saying that losing to Dice doesn't bear thinking about. So that's away as well in there, Forest. And then we've got the Marome on the 30th of December. Am I right?
That sounds about right. There's basically 2 in the better part of a month.
Yeah. I'm in New York then as well for that game. Hopefully I'll be having a few pints in the Turnmill, Evertonian pub in New York.
Yeah, you better go do a live stream with all of your technical prowess. Maybe Chad can give you some pointers when he's over there, because he went to the stadium and had his headset in and everything.
That won't go down too good, would it? Doing a live stream from New York in the Turnmill. That will, like, with my technical abilities, no chance.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night. There you go.
Right, so are we going to end it then? Because we've got 5 minutes before kickoff.
Yep. Yeah, we'll end it. I'll talk to you guys post-match, and hopefully we get the audio squared away. There's probably a lot of echoing through of my voice through Wez's system as well.
Yeah.
So apologies for that.
All right, have a good weekend, Blues. Hopefully we get cheers up and have 3 points up the Toffees.
I'll see you for post-match, everyone.